It's Piotr here again, your SEO expert, with another great video that's going to be jam-packed full of SEO value. And in this video we're going to be covering Google Search Console, and it's going to be a brief tutorial on how to use it, why it's important for webmasters and SEOs alike to be familiar with the tool, and how it can actually improve your SEO performance and traffic. So please stick around, guys, for that. Moving along, I'll quickly explain to you the current layout and how it works. So this is the dummy site I'm currently using. It has a little bit of data in it, but overall your SEO, I should say your website layout in the Google Search Console will be pretty much the same. So we'll move through these tabs. So we have the Overview tab, which highlights key performance metrics, coverage issues. So these are mainly technical problems that your website may have, and enhancements. So these are, I guess, other particular errors that you may have, whether it's with mobile usability or any schema that you're using, such as logos, site links, products, etc. So we'll quickly go through everything now. So why is Google Search Console an important and invaluable asset for your website and for you, especially if you're doing SEO? Primarily, it's good because it enables you to identify your performance. From a ranking perspective, you can see how your website's ranking for a certain group of keywords. It isn't as in-depth as third-party tools such as SEMrush, but overall it does give you a general overview of how you are ranking for certain keywords, and also enables you to track your performance, such as organic click-throughs, your clicks going to your site, and your impressions. So definitely it gives you a good litmus test to see how your website's faring from a tech perspective, from a ranking perspective. It also enables you to see if you've been hit with any penalties, which is a really big tool, because if you get hit with a penalty without Google Search Console, you're not really going to be able to find out any other way. So definitely it also helps you to identify if your website has been hit with any particular penalties. Maybe it's from poor or shady link building practices. But overall, that's fine. We'll go through this tool. So moving to performance. Performance is a nice one because, once again, it gives you a default window of 3 months and enables you to look at clicks, impressions, average CTR, and average position. So I'll quickly go through these metrics. So click is just how many clicks you're getting from a search engine, which is organic, to your website. Total impressions is how many times your web pages have been shown in search results, so 531 times. And your average CTR is the total impressions divided by the total clicks, which in this case equates to 0.2. And then your average position is just for all the keywords you rank for, what's the average position for that. So hypothetically, if you're ranking for all your keywords for 1, then your average position would be 1, or there or abouts. So long story short, that's how you use these metrics to basically see how your website is tracking over time. What I really like about this tool is you can see how you're performing on images and videos as well. You can compare, so how you're doing image versus the web, etc. So this is really nifty if you want to look into anything and do a comparison. You also have date ranges, so you can look at the last 7 or 28 days, the last 3 months, which is the default at this point, last 6 months, last 12 months, and last 16 months. So 16 months is the absolute maximum period at this point in time that you can look at this particular data, unless you're using some type of external API and you're scraping this data and keeping it. So you can go beyond the 16-month threshold. But overall, this is how you do it currently at the moment, and this is providing invaluable and insightful data, because what you can do is you can also filter by queries, which is specific keywords that you're ranking for, pages, country, and device. So you can definitely track over time if there's been any shifts, whether they're positive shifts or negative shifts. Yeah, you can definitely look if there's anything funny going on in your website's performance. And this is a great tool that you can also use side by side with Google Analytics or any other tracking tools that you're currently using in terms of traffic. So what you can also do, which is nice, is this breaks down all the queries you're currently ranking for by your search type and by your date range. And then you can also go and incorporate the query, the clicks, impression, CTR, and position. So example, in this one, you won't be able to see this information here. Example, if you want to see the rankings, you'd have to export this data, and then it would pretty much show you all the key, how well you're ranking for each keyword here. So in order to do this, you can also select, you can go hit the drop down, you can select all of these if you like, and then you can pretty much just export the data by hitting either download as a CSV for Excel, or you can watch this data in Google Sheets as well. So that's one thing I really like about this tool for an SEO perspective, and for just a overall performance perspective. There's so many things you can do. It's so powerful, this tool, and I'm hoping that showing you just this section, you're starting to understand how powerful Google Search Console is, and it's why so many other people, especially in the beginner videos of SEO, they always tout get Google Search Console and get your Google Analytics set up so you can see much more in detail what's happening with your website. So URL inspection is a nice tool. So what you can do is you can inspect URLs on an individual level, and it can tell you whether your URL is being indexed, for example. So yes, the URL is on Google. If there's any issues with mobile usability and things of that nature. So definitely, if you feel that a page isn't being indexed correctly, or something may have happened, example, if a page was ranking really well, or was driving a lot of traffic, but then all of a sudden that traffic just plummets, it's a very good reason to backtrack, and you can check in this URL inspection tool to see if there's any indexing issues that may be affecting traffic performance. So that's what the URL, well, that's essentially what the URL inspection tool does. It enables you to inspect URLs on a singular level, so you can inspect it manually and see what's going on. And if you're not 100% certain when's the last time your page has been indexed, you can also request indexing again, just to make things a bit quicker. And it essentially just speeds things up from that perspective to ensure that your pages are indexed smoothly. So moving on to coverage issues. So I've actually created a separate video. I'll put the card up in the top right hand corner. How to remove coverage issues. So coverage issues are essentially technical issues that Google flags when crawling your site. This could be soft 404s, 404s, server errors, redirect errors, and many more. So definitely please check that video in order for you to understand how you can remove all the current issues that Google is flagging in Google Search Console. So that's essentially what the errors are. If you have a lot of errors, they'll start to spike here. You have valid, so this is basically all the pages that are valid. Excluded essentially means that these are pages that may have been excluded for certain reasons. So example, this could be a page is excluded because there's no index tag. The page has a redirect, so that's why it's not being indexed. Has a soft 404. There's some type of anomaly. A page is being crawled but not indexed. So overall, having pages flagged here isn't necessarily bad. It just means that they've been excluded, but it's definitely good to go in and dive into this just to see if there's any funny things going on. So example, from an SEO perspective, I'd definitely be looking at pages that are flagged by soft 404, or pages that have been discovered but currently not indexed. So definitely I'd be doing a bit more of a deeper dive to understand that, and hopefully that kind of clears up certain reasons why certain pages may be excluded as well. And also, this is a new feature that's just come out last week, so near the end of June. It tells you what crawler is crawling your site. For example, this has been crawled by a smartphone crawler, so that's the primary crawler that is basically crawling the site. So it's very useful considering mobile first indexing has come about. It's definitely interesting and very useful from a webmaster perspective to understand how Google is crawling your site. So moving on to sitemaps. Sitemaps are a very important aspect of technical SEO and SEO overall. So what a sitemap is, in this case we're referring to an XML sitemap. It's basically a document that houses all of your URLs that you want Google to index. And essentially what Google does is that once you have created an XML sitemap, you would plug in the XML sitemap URL into here. You'd hit submit. And in this case, I've submitted my sitemap, and it says status success, and it tells you when I've last indexed it. And basically what enables you to do as a webmaster and as someone who owns this particular site that you're looking at, you would be able to see if there's any crawling issues. So this is one of the most important things which I will do as someone who is starting off in SEO, is to make sure that number one, you have an XML sitemap created, number two, it's been submitted, and number three, this is optional to also include the sitemap URL within your robots or text file to also speed up crawling ease for Google and other search engine crawlers. So very, very important from a technical perspective, and very important just from a general SEO perspective to make sure that you have no issues in the way your sitemap is being indexed. So moving on to enhancements. This basically covers things such as mobile usability, and other enhancements could be things such as logos, site search links, any other type of schema that you use on your site. Example, if you have an organization schema or product schema, FAQ schema, article schema, it will definitely be showing up here. And basically what you would do is you would click through and then it'll tell if there's any problems. So this looks very similar to the coverage issue problem that you'd be seeing here. So if there's any errors, it would flag it. Same thing for mobile usability. If you have any mobile usability issues, definitely this is one other aspect of technical SEO that I'd look into, since now mobile usability is basically really, really important, since now all your websites are being indexed first as a part of mobile first indexing. If the mobile version or variation of your site is really, really poor, it just does a disservice to your website from a technical and SEO perspective. And now this is a really, really big one, which is security and manual actions. So for manual actions, essentially if you've been hit by doing some type of SEO black hat activity, the thing that I would specifically look into would be if you've been buying links or doing something shady, definitely you'll come up on the manual actions. There would be a cross here instead of a green tick, and it basically means that you've done something that will break SEO best practice guidelines from a Google perspective. And you can actually look up the Webmaster guidelines. I'll be putting a description in the bottom, and you can look to see if there's any issues here. So what essentially would happen is if you're hit with a manual action of some kind, your website's visibility would essentially be plummeting, your traffic would be plummeting, because Google would pretty much be penalizing your site. So definitely it's very important to look at manual actions. With security issues, this is also interesting, because in case your website has been hacked or potentially there's been a hack attempt, there's a good chance that Google would flag it, but by any means necessary, I would not use this as a substitution for like a third party tool that specializes in website security. This will just give you an overview in case your website has been hacked, but I'll be also using a third party tool as well to make sure there's no security issues. Now moving on to links. This tool is really cool because you can actually export your links. You can export your external and internal links. So just to give you a quick overview if you're not sure what the differences are. External links are links that are from outside sites, so example third-party sites that are linking to your site. So in this case, I have CEO Blog Nation or relevance.com or business listings on not.net.au that are all linking back to this website, seovenator.com.au for example. So these are my 6 external links, and it tells you where they're pointing. They're pointing, 5 of them are pointing to my homepage, 1 of them is pointing to my FAQ page. So in terms from an SEO perspective, link building and links is important, since they basically provide ranking signals to your website and to Google, essentially telling Google that this website has some authority. So it's very important to look at this from an SEO perspective. If you do not have any external links, it's definitely something to look into as an SEO strategy to improve your rankings. And similarly, I could say the same thing with internal links. If you don't have your internal links set up correctly, if you're not linking properly between certain pages, and if you're not linking enough, there could be opportunities that you're missing out on from an internal link perspective, because they also provide minor ranking signals as well to Google. So definitely looking at this is very important, because you can look at how many current links you have from an internal and external perspective. I won't go too much more into detail on that, considering we're focusing on the Google Search Console tool, but I will be doing another video regarding links. But overall, you can also view this information from different sources. For example, your external links, you can look at third-party tools such as SEMrush or Ahrefs to figure out external links. And with internal links, you can also use other crawlers such as Screaming Frog. Then you can crawl how many internal links you have on your website. And then you have settings, which enables you to pretty much provide, so example, I own this particular Google Search Console account, but if I own the site and I want to give someone partial access, you can also set users and permissions, and enables you to basically provide information to other users. They may not be able to do as much as you can, as you're the verified owner, but it's useful as you can pass this information on to other people, and they can access your site and look at variations of certain technical issues or different elements of your website. So definitely settings is important, and it's interesting because you can also exclude different options for users to see what particular parts of your Google Search Console account they can navigate to. So overall, that is a very, very brief summary of how to use Google Search Console, but I feel that it definitely hits all the points that any beginner needs to know about Google Search Console. And if you want a more advanced video, I'm definitely more than happy to do that, but definitely this covers everything you need. And I would definitely recommend, if you haven't set up an account, please set one up for Google Search Console. And if you already have an account set up, please start digging through this, because a lot of the issues that a lot of webmasters have is they don't dig into this information, and then they're surprised for some reason that a lot of their SEO traffic and rankings isn't as good as what they perceive it to be. So definitely get your technical stuff in check and in place, and then get your link stuff in place as well, and then you eventually over time you'll start to see rankings and traffic increases over time.